Georgia Archery Podcast. I'm your host, Big John Chandler, and this is where we talk about, well, anything and everything to do with archery in the state of Georgia and Georgia archers wherever they may shoot. And if you're here, you can see I have a guest. Let's see, he is a man of many hats. He, he has a real job, but other than
Yeah.
that, he's a red team coach. He runs an archery team, which is Team On Point, and he dabbles in parts and stuff, which is knock archery, right? Isn't that the name of it?
Top notch.
Top
Yeah.
knock archery, and also, at many times has been set in different places in different positions in different organizations that do archery. So, Jake Martin, how are you doing, buddy?
Well, good, John. Appreciate the intro.
I I don't know what your day job is actually. I know where you work, but I don't know what your day job is. So
So I am a facility manager for Fort Gordon and Fort Gillem for the Army. So
Fort what?
yeah,
Fort who?
we are Fort Gordon this week, and I think we'll stay there for a while. So
I hear you. Fort Gordon. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me. We have some stuff that we would like to talk about. But first, we're just going to go around because it's been a while. I haven't been on. This past weekend, how was your weekend?
man, it was good. And bow hunter jamboree with below 80-degree weather.
Oh, man.
When you're setting targets and it's 72 in August, it doesn't get any better than that.
You can't win. You can't get that one, boy. You need to play the lottery for sure.
That's right.
But yeah, so this past weekend on Saturday, Maysville's Baptist Church has their shoot every year, their end of year shoot. And then the Dixie Bowhunter Jamboree, y'all had like 128 shooters.
Yep, absolutely.
That and gave away $7,000 worth of freaking
$7,000
prizes.
prize money, etc. Yeah,
God,
it's like most folks hoping for a little bit bigger turnout. But if you looked numbers similar to last year,
yep,
which is a good sign considering everything else was a drop off this year in participation.
for sure. Yes,
We kept the same. I mean, that's really growth if you look at it that way. So
yeah, you stayed where you needed to stay. So.
right.
But yeah, so that's a good thing. And then, well, I didn't get to go to neither Maysville or the Bowhunter Jamboree because I was at this little customer appreciation day at the store. And it wasn't very little. It was busy from the time the door unlocked to the time the door locked. We were busy as all get out, which is a great thing too. I had a great weekend. I was very happy with that. So
The shop looked like a mess on Sunday. So
yeah, it was a little different. So I stayed at the cash register from probably 9:30 to 5 o'clock, ringing folks out. So it was definitely good stuff. But yeah, that's what happened this past weekend. I wasn't here. We didn't talk about. I didn't have a couple of weeks now. I haven't had a podcast, so at least the guys that are watching, they go, hey, it's been a while. So, you know,
no, that always happens this time of year, doesn't it? I mean, the shop picks up.
oh yeah,
You get about too busy.
oh yeah, time to do anything, right? Who has time to do anything? But so Jake, we and you have talked several times. You've hosted this year alone. You pulled the ace card. You hosted a state national, a state indoor, a state 3D, a bunch of other different state tournaments all this year.
We were busy this year. There's no doubt.
And how much fun is that?
It's a lot funner in the beginning of the season than it is in the end of the season. I think.
Yeah,
You still got a little bit more motivation in the front end of the season than you do in the tail.
for sure. But yeah, so we've all both hosted events, and you know what comes along with hosting events? Complaints.
The complaints, yeah, no, absolutely.
You
You
know,
know, this year, one thing I will say is, I think um, we had a lot more compliments and a lot less critiquing or complaints than we've seen in previous years, both in social media, and in person. So it was a good thing. I don't know if the events were any better or worse than others, or if people are just, realizing kind of what it takes to do some of this, and or maybe a little more patient than they have been in the past. I don't know, but there were definitely a lot more compliments this year than we've seen in past years.
which definitely makes you feel good.
Oh, absolutely.
First that you did it right, and then that other people noticed.
Right. No, 100%.
I enjoyed myself immensely shooting the 5 spot tournament inside the what do they call that center?
Yeah,
The
the Columbia County Convention Center.
convention center in Columbia County. First time I'd ever been there. It's a beautiful facility.
Oh, absolutely.
And we had a great time. You know, so I would love to see more if we're available to do that facility because, we need facilities. And y'all put on a heck of a show. So
Yeah, no, I mean you couldn't ask for a better venue, that's for sure.
that's right.
We had some great luck partnering with the county, partner with the Visitors Association, the Visitors Bureau, and then some of the other local businesses to help sponsor and pick up some of the tab on that stuff.
Yep,
Because that's the only way you can make that kind of venue possible.
for sure.
With a tournament that's got 100 people in it or so, there's not enough money to go around to rent something like that.
Yeah, we definitely going to get into that part too, on money to
But
go
we do hope
around.
to go back there again this year, maybe with a GAA indoor tournament, something like that. As you
Okay.
know, since it can't host GBAA again this year.
No, it's a rotating spot. So,
Yeah,
and then you may put on a Lancaster type shoot like you've done in the past, but
right.
probably not there. If
Yeah, kind
if
of
you have enough,
waiting to see what schedules work out. With everything else availability. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to do a Lancaster shoot after Lancaster. So, yeah, we've hosted. Yeah, we've done two now, 2 years.
yep,
So our intent is to do another one,
that's
whether we're
cool.
back at the
Yep.
fairgrounds or not.
And then you hosted your own 3D shoots through the year.
Yeah,
Um, and what else did you host before state? Well, you had a qualifiers.
yeah, we did do a qualifier.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Heck, I don't know.
Did you hosted the spring turkey?
I'll say I think I hosted spring turkey. I know I did last year.
Yeah,
This year was
I
below. To
think
be
I
honest with you.
th- I can't remember. Um, look, that's like one of those things. I can't remember. We could shoot so much stuff. It's like
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but you did a great job. You
Okay.
went to you did the ASA state championship
Yes, we did.
and and four ranges.
We did. Yeah. Kind of stole the idea, from Scott and RVO, in
Yep.
the last year,
Too
and
too long,
seemed
too short.
too long, too short, and thought it would work out better, keep the flow going,
Well,
out,
it
et
did.
cetera.
It did that, but you didn't order the right weather. It was hot.
We got a little heat, didn't we?
It was hot.
Yeah.
I shot really good on the first half. That back half, I was just tired, wore out. But you did a great job. Nothing wrong with it wasn't like, oh my God, it was so long or so short or so whatever. I moved my sight a lot. I had close ones, far ones, up hills, down hills. I mean, you threw everything at us, which was great. So we had a little bit of everything. Those flatlanders that come up from South Georgia had some hills to look at that they ain't never looked at, and the guys from the mountains didn't see as much hills as they're used to. So I mean,
Right.
a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But how many people does it take to host an event?
So I'll tell you, it kind of what we did for this one. Yeah. As you know, we held it at the Professional Disc Golf Association property out there, and we had been talking to them on and off for the last 2 months really to get permission. But schedule alignment and et cetera, we didn't get out there until the Wednesday before to be able to kind of get final permission for the areas we wanted. So really, the first time we had seen a lot of that ground and been able to walk it was Wednesday. So Thursday morning we show up, to start setting targets.
And chainsaws.
Right? Yeah. No. Absolutely. There was a tractor out there, skid steer out there, chainsaws. But there wasn't near as much trees where we thought there were still trees.
Well, that was a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, where we thought we would put some lanes and et cetera would have worked great, except we would have been in the sun all day. And we know that that's not possible.
Yep.
So, so you kind of shift to, all right, where do we have shade? Where can we get lanes, et cetera? And what you've seen is kind of where we ended up and how we got to that.
Okay.
But so anyway, 2 days of solid clearing lanes, setting up and stuff, all day Thursday, all day Friday, setting up, and a crew of it varied 5 to 8, depending on the time of day, work schedules, et cetera, who could take off and whatnot. But we averaged about 6 people for 2 solid days out there working.
Yep. And that's all selfless help.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I bought them lunch.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. All the water they can drink and take them out for lunch. You're right. That's the volunteers that no club can run without.
Oh, you're not joking. If we didn't have help, it would never happen. What
Right.
people who have never hosted an event don't understand the amount of work that it takes to host an event, um, and the time and the effort that's put into it to make it run smooth, so that you don't see problems,
Right.
so that scorecards are pushed out and tallied up and added.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand how much work it takes. And they figure, well, I'm paying $35 to shoot or $50 to shoot. That just should happen. What we have not figured out, what people don't know, is how much of that money goes out just to run the shoot.
Right.
What does a porta potty cost?
Right. So we'll break down state. Clearly we do this and we try to make a little bit of money off to be able to buy new targets and et cetera. So again, just as I said, Thursday and Friday, set up, et cetera. 6 people each. Those are guys that took off work. Some with leave, for vacation, some not. So some of them were taking dings in their pocketbooks just to be able to do this. But 2 portlets, for a weekend event, that's $240. So and as you said, so ASA states $40, to participate. So of that $40, 20 of it comes to the club. So just think, for every archer, that shows up, that's $20 back to the club.
Yep.
So $240 for 2 portlets. That's 12 archers is what it took to be able to put
Just to have a potty.
portlets in the range. That's right.
That's
You
right.
know, I bought 10 new inserts before. I think we ended up using 2 of them when we set up. The rest we kept, but they were just in case. If 200 people showed up, there was probably some inserts that would have to have been changed, kind of thing.
Yep.
But 10 inserts, those are 82 bucks a piece or so. I mean, so there's $800 in target inserts right there. It takes more than 12 archers to come up with $800
For sure.
entry fee. But like I said, just lunch for the crews for setup, you got a couple $100 in that. The extra signs and stakes and pins and scorecards, figure out you got another $100 in that minimum.
Yep.
So I figure that it cost me $1,300
Mm-hmm.
to hold state. And that's not factoring in, the gas and the tractor and all the other stuff that kind of went on to it, the back and
Yep.
forth.
Yep.
But we had 106 shooters, at $20 a piece. It's whatever, $2,100. So we made $800.
Yep.
And then that's before when we hadn't talked about much, but the awards at the end for everybody that doesn't stick around for their awards. The host club is responsible for getting them the rewards. So all them belt buckles and plaques, there's about 10 of them, that I needed to get to people that either didn't stick around, didn't have anybody there on Sunday, didn't see him at Coleman or another shoot kind of thing. But that's $12 a pop. You're out another $120 in just mailing awards. So, by the time you're all said and done, made $700 in 4 days worth of work.
4 days of hard work.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
But then we go, all right, so we're like, people don't understand. Like, if you don't pick up your award, it's cost you $12 to mail it because it weighs something. It's got to go. You
Yeah, yeah.
made
I
you
mean, I
you
probably
made
could do it a little
you made
easier.
yeah, but you made $8 on that person.
Correct.
And then if you took the porta potty and whatever, that $8 is gone.
Right.
So yeah, $600 for a weekend is, I mean, a lot of work for 4 or 5 days.
So you
Um,
can buy, a target or two.
yeah. Um, but then like so okay, so maybe the turnout needs to be bigger, right?
Yeah,
I,
I mean, ideally, that's always the hope. Your upfront cost is going to be the same.
yeah,
If you had 10 people there or 400 showed up, your upfront cost is what it
it's
is.
gonna yeah, you're still gonna pay the same. Um, except you may have to mail a few more trophies.
Well, probably not, because honestly, most of the first place ones are the belt buckles. So whether there was 20 in the class or one in the class, you was about the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. And then on the other side of that, so it's not a lot of money. And how many were qualified for that event?
Oh wow. Go back through that list, but well over 500 or 600 is kind of what come out on the list.
Yes, that is crazy.
Right.
That the participation was low, right? And I'm not saying, I mean, overall things have been slower across the board.
Mhm.
Gasoline and economy and whatever else that plays at food pricing. I mean, everything takes effect.
Right.
But let's just go that's at the end of the season. So let's back all the way back up to the first big shoot you hosted of the year
Hmm.
and do the math on that. You would have lost money if the place didn't allow you to use the facility
If at the indoor, no, absolutely. So even so, again, it was GBAA, 5 spot indoor, and we held a Culpeppers indoor bow hunt and shoot that
yep.
one night in between them.
Mm-hmm.
All said and done, awards, payout, everything, etc. We made, and it was a NFAA sectional.
Yep, section.
So we made about $1,100.
Yep, and that would have
The rent
not.
on that building was $3,000. Right.
That's
If we'd
right.
have to pay that, right, you could
Exactly.
never. Right. You could never do it.
So people don't understand locally what it takes to do this. We need participation,
Right.
plain and simple.
No, that's
And yes, we're preaching to the choir because there's 9 people watching. There'll be a bunch more watch this later because we'll play it, but push it back out. But we are preaching to the choir because they're all archers and they all understand. At least most of them have been there, done that, and worked in a with a club or with an organization of some sort. Because I've been there. You heard me at the end of the year that I hosted so many. I was like, I ain't bidding on jack nothing, just because we had done put in our time so hard that it was like, oh my goodness, let's just take a break. Plus, then
right.
we lost our property.
Yeah.
So
Understand.
that makes it even worse.
No, you're right.
But yeah,
Think about this, John, and we've talked some. The fun shoots or the non-sanctioned kind of shoots and etc. So we hosted a qualifier. Typically, we host one of the late ones. So we did a qualifier in June. We try to catch that crowd that forgot to qualify.
yeah,
You know,
are looking for one more score.
that's right. Yeah. So we had 48 qualify at that shoot, and for those, the host club gets. You've got a couple options. We kept 15 is what comes back. All right.
Yeah.
We had 25 fun shooters at $20 a piece. So just on that qualifier, we made $1,000 or a little over $1,000 after expenses because
Yeah.
we didn't need to buy anything else, rented one portlet, etc.
Yep.
But that's a
Oh,
one day, half a day, 20 targets that
host.
we, financially, and, much easier to set up. You're in the same lanes, etc.
Yep.
But we made more money doing that as a club than you do, hosting a state championship.
For sure.
But half of that money comes from the 25 fun shooters because you don't have to pay back and etc. So you get the $20, from all of them, and we're seeing those numbers kind of grow.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see, fundraisers to get some really nice shooter of the year belt. Let's put Jesse says maybe they need to do some fundraisers, get some nice belt buckles for the shooter of the year. Maybe some more participation with the nice belt buckles, which awards make draw crowds. And Bill says if you're going to get trying to make money hosting a tournament, you might as well think again.
Well, there's no doubt. Bill, but clubs that want to do it, host them, we've got to make enough money.
Make it worth the while.
Right. I mean, I don't expect to cover my expenses even, but you got to get somewhere close.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Even
bought
if
it.
you break even.
Right. Yeah. No, breaking even would be awesome, wouldn't
For sure.
it? Again, I told you what we made, but I bought 2 ranges this year to be able to do all that.
Yeah,
There's $12,000 worth of targets that we bought this year.
just in preparation for this event.
Right, just to be able to continue to host tournaments with
Yep.
good targets.
Exactly.
Absolutely right. But that's $12,000 in targets. That's a lot of tournaments you got to host. To try to cover that.
For sure.
So we'll never make any money doing it. That's for sure, and not the reason we do it.
And that's not why we do it. Because if we was trying to make money, we would have gone somewhere else and done something else for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing with this Georgia Archery. I mean, I started this Georgia Archery not because I was trying to figure out how to make $1 off of it. That's not what I did it for. I did it because I was a shooter. I was hunting all the dates that I could hunt, put it in a calendar, and guess what? Well, everybody else started calling me and going, "Hey, John, you got your calendar? What is the date?" So I was like, "I'm just fixing to put it out there."
Yep.
And that's where it grew,
Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, we're not talking the money side just to
we're trying.
I think it's important that people
understand
the business side of this, because we talk about we need more clubs or we have to grow clubs and et cetera. I don't know if we need more clubs, but I can tell you we damn sure need more archers, to go to them.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But when you as an individual or as a nonprofit or a for-profit, however you're going to run this, if you can't make it at least, cover most of your cost, most people can't afford to do it.
No.
Worried about the price of gas in a gas tank right now. You're not going and buying $6,000 range to be able to hold a tournament next year.
For sure. And me and you both have done in the past helped other clubs try to do something.
Absolutely.
With loaning of equipment so that they could at least see how it works, runs it does, how things go, which is a great thing, right? I appreciate everybody that's in the podcast listening to us. If you don't know, that's Mr. Jake Martin, Team On Point, hosted the state, did a phenomenal job, and we were just talking business of archery as a club, because the problem that people don't understand is if you didn't host a shoot to become a member of an organization, you have to pay some money, right? Just to have insurance, whatever, right? Yeah. There are more ASA clubs that are just clubs for the insurance and don't host a qualifier, right? But they host fun shoots or weekly or monthly shoots at their club, and it helps offset their insurance. Mm-hmm. The reason that they don't is because of the reason that we're talking about. Because you just said the fun shooters made more money than having to pay out. Right. So we just need more shooters, and it's not that we don't have shooters. We have, I think it's 86,000. I forgot what I had the number. I just lost it. Had it on a piece of paper. Archers in the United States. I mean, in the state of Georgia, registered bow hunters. Why are they not at a shoot? We need to draw that crowd.
Oh, you're right.
That crowd shows up at attack events. I watch guys who never have been to any of the local shoots that I've seen. They walk in the store and they go, "I'm going to my first tack event, and I want this arrow and this stuff." And they don't mind spending the money, and they don't mind shooting their bow. Mm-hmm. So we need to draw that crowd. What do you think?
Yeah, we got plenty of archers in the state, like you said, John, and you see it as I do. you can go to four different tournaments, four different styles of hunting: a jamboree, an ASA, a GBAA, an indoor, and you will see four different crowds. You know, there may be 400 different archers in those four events, but you're not going to get more than 100 at that. So how do you get the crossover? As we said, we had 130 at the jamboree. I'll bet 15 or 20 of those are ones that we see at ASA shoots. How do you pick up that crowd and get them to go to the
For sure.
to the other stuff, and whether that be an ASA, a GBAA,
Something. Yeah.
right?
Got to figure out how to get them there.
Yeah,
Dawn says, she agrees it's not a moneymaker at any level: hosting, coaching, paying for judging. You break even slightly better, you might as well be success, right?
yeah.
And then Jonathan says, start setting 20 to target tack style shoot. You know, you're not the first person to say that, and you're not the first person who has talked about that. And I see that it may happen at some of these clubs. There may be an ASA style shoot one weekend and a tack style shoot another weekend because the tack guys don't care about score.
Hmm.
Not as far as like I need to become first. They don't. That's not. They want to be challenged on the shot and leave with all their arrows and the camaraderie of friends hanging out and doing the thing. Um, so we have to make sure that they understand that we have just as much, fun shooting at an ASA style event. If we just, let and the fun shooter list across the place is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Hmm.
So it tells you a story. I mean, all the local shoots, a lot of guys are paying fun shoot instead of paying for the trophy shoot. First off, you get to keep your plaque, right? As a club, I don't have to send a plaque out. And the next thing um, is, you know, you make just as much money and you don't have to pay nothing else. So it's
Yeah,
win-win. Get practice, whatever.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tony says, "What's a tack shoot?"
Jonathan, one of the things we talked about at the jamboree this weekend was kind of that. But do we have our monthly fun shoot qualifiers? Whatever ASA kind of style shoots. Do we start setting a 60-yard back stake tack style? That would that draw that crowd over to it, or is it just the atmosphere is different between the two different crowds and they don't want to cross over? Don't know, but it's absolutely conversations that we're having.
100%. Larry says it's been that way since the early '80s. Larry,
Yeah,
that's not true. In the early '80s, right, in the first of the '90s, I had a shooting stool not for the reason that we have shooting stools now to carry all my junk. I had a shooting stool because I had to sit on it and wait an hour and a half to get on a friggin' target because there would be 200 at Amicalola to shoot. I remember those days very well. So, but yeah, so Jonathan says, the hunt shoot draw such a good numbers. You're 100% right.
yeah,
You just said the jamboree, which it paid out good too. Don't get me
right.
wrong,
No,
had a good
absolutely.
payout,
Yeah,
and but you had more shooters at the jamboree than you had at the ASA. It was
right.
hosted in the same area, correct?
Yep. Yeah, same part of the state,
Same part of the
same
state.
town. Right.
Yep, and you had more shooters, so you can't say that it was. And then I'm gonna venture to say that it was 10% of the ASA crowd, and the rest were somebody you hadn't seen.
The rest were other folks. Yeah, I
Yep,
mean, we had people from North Carolina, people from Alabama. Yeah,
yep,
that drove into it.
for sure. So, I mean, yes, the hunting shoots grow. Here's the other thing that I'm gonna throw out there is hunting shoots. We'll talk about it for what's going on this weekend. There's a lot of folks having hunting shoots right now,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
Y'all Maysville did their yearly shoot. Y'all did the jamboree like y'all have done for the last couple of three or
Yeah,
whatever it is now. Restarted it, revamped it, re-kicked it back in.
yeah. No,
The
Cooper's kind of took that by the horns and has really turned it into something.
Yep, and then The Cottonmouth Classic is this coming weekend.
Hmm.
R&D is having their hunt shoot with a team thing that seems pretty cool. Best arrow. Put a little spin on it.
Yeah.
Um, and then Emmanuel has a fun shoot, and they don't care what kind of. And then RBO has his shoot. So, like all of the hunters are, I mean, hunting shoots. I would venture to say that when we get done next week, and I do another podcast, that those numbers are going to be higher.
Yeah. Interested to see what all those numbers are.
Yeah, not just across the board. Like even though there's more shoots scheduled at the same time, and
Hmm.
we can talk about that too. Um, Everybody wants more shoots, but if you get more clubs, they don't make any more weekends. They don't. And with the gas prices and other prices, I'm going to choose to shoot the closer one, not the further one, for the most part. I mean, just as a person of trying to watch dollar bills, that's what's going to happen.
Right.
So you have your local crowd. You know your local crowd. Your local crowd comes out there and shoots your events every Saturday that you host one. They're in town guys and they come shoot it. But the other side of that is that you know it's you do get sometimes. I tell Scott I try my best to make down at least one, if not two, of his shoots a year. I made R&D. I made sure he put them on Sunday so that I could go to shoots.
Hmm.
I made it down as your shoots when you were shooting on 2 days.
Yep.
So those are the type of things that I try to support everybody.
Right.
And,
Yeah. Most of us do. Even even the ones that are running clubs.
for
And
sure,
I don't get to near as many as we'd like, but there's a good chance that if we're not hosting something, that there's
somebody's
somebody's got something. But we're out of town with a Joe ad event somewhere, or we're
for sure.
at a national event, or that weekend finally come up where I had to take family vacation. Yeah,
So
all of those factor
yeah,
in. So,
it all falls in. So Jonathan says that the 145 class has helped, and if they come up with a pro hunter where the magnification is allowed, that may be a positive. Well, you're right. I
mhm.
would have to do a math or go to the TAC event and do a poll that says how many guys are actually shooting magnification, and they're shooting 137 yards. How many of those guys are really shooting magnification?
Yeah, but I agree with Jonathan. The
I do.
145 class, I think, was kind of a shot in the
The,
arm
there's
for some
no
numbers.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I believe that they should have a pro hunter class.
No,
I'm not
absolutely.
I'm not sure about the magnification. Not going to argue that one, but um, you know. And then
Hmm.
Larry, 300 to 500 shooters. Yes, Amicalola. I was sat on my stool and waited to shoot. You lately, it was like tea times, right? I mean, because if it was like casual start, but it was so backed up that you couldn't jump ahead because when you have that many shooters and you have 20 targets, do the math. I mean,
Right.
you're going to have to wait. So we had a
I'm
great time.
wondering if what is what Larry's saying too is that less shoot, so people emphasized, and prioritized, I guess, and came to them then.
Yeah.
Now that everybody's got a lot more of a selection,
Yep.
that they may not be going near as
That's
often or
that was the
as
same
frequent.
thing. The same thing I was saying. When we have more clubs, what happens? You're dividing your shooting group.
Right. Yeah.
Whoever's closer to whatever. I mean, I sat in my driveway, and I did the math of the two shoots that were going on, and I'm like, well, that one is an hour further, or that one's 45 minutes further. And it didn't matter because it wasn't our club, so it wasn't a local club. It still was an
Right.
hour and a half, and I was
Yeah.
like, "But that's 45 minutes that I won't have to be in the car."
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if you know that they're both got good targets and they're both put on a good shoot,
yeah,
it all comes down to that,
comes
right?
down to that. Yep. So on the other side, you're 100% right, and that is a discussion that us as Ace Archery Shop and Ace Apaches have had this discussion about. Let's not host one a month. Let's host 3 or 4 a year and make it a big deal.
Right.
Right? Because we haven't hosted one in forever, and then we hosted one and had about 65 shooters.
Yeah. No,
You
it's a
know,
good point.
65 shooters was really good because most folks were getting 12 and 20 and 30 and 5.
Right.
So at 60, because you know why? Well, they knew that we had good targets. They ain't been shot in 2 years.
Yeah,
and
that's valid.
Yeah, and then there's like, well, hey, we ain't been to Ace, so we go to Ace. And
Yeah.
then one time a year, the Dixie Jamboree, the R&D's doing their hunt and shoot, the big thing. We used to do the Big 40 at RBO every year. Those
Hmm.
were draw events,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
so, if we got it together as clubs and worked on draw events and go, hey, instead of 4 people having a hunting shoot this weekend, let's make a draw event, right? I would not schedule my shoot over the Dixie Bow Hunter Jamboree. I just wouldn't.
Right.
Not if I knew ahead of time, right?
Hmm.
And if you make a mistake, it happens.
Right.
We run out of dates.
There's
You
almost
we've
only
we've
50
ta-
to
we've
choose from. But yeah.
huh?
There's only 52 of them weekends to
That's
choose
right,
from.
100%. And so we understand that sort of the same thing of shotgun start. So some states do shotgun starts. You get some in, get some out, and get some gone. I
Yeah.
will say that as Georgians, shotgun start has not worked out very well for most people. Now, if you could do the cutoff time earlier, but Georgia's a big state, and if somebody has to drive from the north all the way down, and you shotgun start, yes, they can make time because ASA does it, but we've hosted events with shotgun start and had less people than if you had done it casual start. Same tournament.
Yeah. There's plus and minuses to both sides.
100%.
And for the Dixie Bow Hunters Jamboree, I think we've kind of settled that. Look, you get a 2 hour window for casual start. That helps you forecast your your end time, and helps for those that do have to travel and want to stick around for awards and stuff. But again, if you get more than 120 people, you can't do a shotgun start with 20 targets.
Nope. Well, you could, but they got to set out first.
Right. Yeah. That's what you start making blank targets and stuff.
We have a poker table here. We got a pizza table here. You
That's
play
right.
tic tac toe here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yes. So, and that's understandable with 20 targets. And then, with the S3DA one year, it had gotten to the point where we were over 100 people, 100 kids every time,
Hmm.
120, 130. And now you're stacking too many kids in one bale.
Right.
So those teams had to set 15 targets or 40 targets to try to split it up to not
Keep up with the crowds.
keep
Right.
up with the crowds. Now that has broke down a little bit, but it comes and goes like it always does. But yeah, it's amazing to me that everybody wants to shoot a bow and tells you they want to shoot a bow in January, February, March, April, and May, but after that, nobody wants to help you. It's too hot to come out there. Man, I got something else. Mom's got this going on, or I got that going on, or we're going on vacation. And the June and July and August events,
They're tough months.
they're tough months.
Mhm.
And it's crazy to watch it. So yes, having a 3D hunting shoot during those months is actually, like you said, a punch in the arm for a club because they get a kick in
Right.
participation, because that may be somebody that hasn't been at your had since last year at the 3D shoot,
That's right.
but because they don't
Yeah.
care, you don't ask them how fast their bow is. You don't you
Yeah.
don't really care what distance they shoot. I mean, a hunt and shoot, you could stand where you want to.
Hmm.
There's stakes there if you want to. This is a
Yeah.
maximum of this. This is a maximum of that. But you don't care. I
Shoot,
just give me your $20 and let's go.
shoot your bow, have some fun.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Talk to your friends and enjoy it.
And
Yeah. No, I mean, and as a club and that's hosting shoots, you've got to focus on how you recruit those people to come back the next year. In 3 or 4 months
in
after.
in other shoots,
Right.
or
Because they're out there, they're having a blast. So you got to be able to recruit them into um, coming back out when the hunting season's done. That's the hard transition.
Jonathan says that's why they don't do June and July shoots. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's understandable because your participation falls off. And I
Yeah.
can tell you this, like looking at small clubs, it is hard. There's no doubt about it. Small club, few people, set it up. The expense to buy 20 targets to host one, you can run all year long and not cover the cost of what you paid for those targets.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
not going to happen. I mean,
Yep.
not when you filter in, I got to buy scorecards. I got to have pins for people. I got to have a bathroom for people who go to pot. All of
Yep.
this stuff takes effect. I mean, it just
Yeah.
is.
Stakes to
Um,
put in the ground, the
oh
rebar that
yeah,
shows
all of
off the
yeah, and
fast, just all
signs
of it.
and
Yeah.
all of
Now,
the things.
now, when we're doing the math too, we're factoring in that. Look, I'm not having to travel. I
Yep.
didn't have to pay for a hotel at an ASA state this year. I didn't have to drive. I mean, all of that is a few $100s that we would have spent had we went someplace else. So
Yeah.
when I'm trying to do our balance sheets, if you will, I factor that in.
Well, that's
That
true.
it saves money. It is.
It
So
does.
you can't just look at what ended up in the club's bank account at the end. It's kind of what saved us some
Yeah,
money
you have to
as well.
offset the cost of going here versus
Hmm.
not. I mean, Larry spent the night. I know Larry Painter came down and spent the night so that he could shoot half and half,
Right.
right? Instead of driving home.
Yep.
Well, that was an expense I didn't have. That's an expense you didn't
Yeah,
have.
absolutely. Yeah.
You
Five
know
or six inches beaten out on top of that.
exactly. And I ain't gonna lie, I sure wish I had been able to shoot half and half. I really do. I
Yeah.
ran out of gas.
Right.
And congratulations to everybody who won a belt buckle and who had shot very well all year and did everything like that. Congratulations for you. There's no doubt. I'm not, not knocking it. It was, I made that choice to shoot them all in one day, not anybody else. So,
Right.
um, the
Yep.
pocketbook did more than anything else. I had to work. But other than that, what else did you want to talk about as far as business of archery?
No, I mean I think that's it. But let me put a plug out. Like you had your big store shoot. So one of our biggest sponsors up here is our Culpeppers Outdoors. It's
For
in our
sure.
Ace Hard store here in Evans. But the 22nd and 23rd, they're having their big end of year pre hunting sale.
Yep.
So if you're looking for deals and you didn't make it to Ace Social Circle, come into Evans here and support the Culpeppers Outdoors.
Well, Casey does a great job down there.
And we could do what we're doing,
Yep,
without the support that comes out of that shop.
for sure. I
I don't
understand
think
that completely.
they could do what they're doing without the help of their local archery shop and the
Yeah,
business.
100%. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Wild Bill's in the house. He supports down there. Now there's two clubs in his area, and
Two
so
people,
try and supports both of them. So,
yeah,
um, you know, but yeah, without a support of art, a shop close is good. Um, and watching the like S3DA teams all have a support of some sort, right?
right,
I mean,
yeah,
Robbie's building his group down there, and that type of thing out of his shop, and um,
hmm
other clubs with other shops. It's the same way,
and
um,
there's no doubt that it's mutually beneficial to both.
for sure.
You have to have that relationship with a good shop that's by you and good clubs, and both have to be reputable. And then it is mutual benefit. And there are times that we send plenty of new customers to that store, and they turn around
Oh
and
yeah,
send new archers looking
to
for
the
lessons.
first lessons or a place to shoot and some
Yeah,
things to
no,
do. So
absolutely. When it comes time to buy new targets or rent facilities and et cetera, they're the first ones to ask us, how can I help?
yep, and
So
grow the numbers. I mean, just
yep,
in general.
that's
I
right.
mean, it's I scratch yours, you scratch mine type of
That's
thing.
it's
So it's
absolutely important.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's great. I think that someone asked me the other day, do I think archery is growing? I think it grows exponentially. The problem is I think the fall off is exactly the same exponentially.
Right. Yeah. I think we put a whole lot of new people into archery. We just struggle with retaining them. Um,
That's what I'm saying. Is you
and
fall
but
out
I
just as
think,
many as you fall in.
but I think that's the same for most of your outdoor activities and sports. You see the same thing in hunting license, fishing license. I don't care what it is. Um, People are going to come in. People are going to age out.
For sure.
Um,
But yeah, I think that archery itself is, you know, it's my passion. Everybody knows that. That's what I do. I do
right.
it for a living, and I, do this for the fun. And try my best to let everybody know what's going on when. If you
Yeah.
didn't know, Curtis Broadnax came back from China with 2 medals.
Yep. Yep. No, it's
Two
phenomenal.
medals.
Watch him in the shoot off there, wasn't it? To
He
the
was,
elimination there at the end.
yep,
Yeah.
did very well.
Yeah.
And
And
George,
we may watch him in the Olympics here in a couple of years
well,
anyway. So
well,
talk about
now I
another
two
growth to archery.
for sure. You got a stepping stones. Everybody goes, I was like, look, it's two more archers from the United States that are going to shoot a compound bow in the Olympics.
That's right.
That's two more than would have been there before. So let's just,
Yeah, yeah,
celebrate it, not knock it down.
yeah.
Well,
No,
they shoulda,
absolutely.
coulda, woulda. It's always like, hey, look, you got a baby steps.
Well, yeah, we got to start somewhere. But
So
again, it'll
everybody,
be on TV in LA with Americans in it, and we'll see archery growth numbers because of it.
100%.
And if we
Um,
get one of them from Georgia, it'll be even better. Yeah.
that's a fact.
Or two of them from Georgia, it'll be even better, right?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, we haven't seen how they're going to qualify or how they're going to, do that yet, but it's coming. And I think there's going to be a whole lot of archers that are coming out of semi-retirement because that's one thing they've never had,
Mhm.
right? Never had a chance at a gold medal or a medal from the Olympics. But yeah, so I think that's definitely something that's going to happen. But yeah, and speaking of that, who's shooting this weekend? The outdoor U.S. Nationals and U.S. Open is happening right now in Missouri. um, so they had their practice day today, tomorrow. I think some start maybe. I don't know. It's how it breaks out. I can't
Yeah,
remember. I didn't look at the schedule. So of course that's where Curtis is. He has traveled his butt off this year.
yeah, he's
Um, and
a
so
frequent
and
flyer.
yeah, and we have several Georgians shooting that event. So good luck to all the Georgians that went out to that event. Also, this weekend, the RBO is having their hunting/fun shoot, and it's on Saturday or Sunday. So you have a choice to be able to go um, one way or the other, right? Either day that's best for you. Rocky Comfort has the Cottonmouth Classic. They host that every year, and it's doing their thing on Saturday. R&D has their hunting shoot, and if you haven't signed up, it's 2-man team. So forth. They got some guaranteed prizes.
They had some
Best
big
air,
prize money
yep,
posted today. I've seen that.
that's right. But best arrow, the whole 9 yards. So and then Emmanuel is hosting a little fundraiser shoot up there in their neck of the woods to try to raise a few dollars. And this is, I hate to say it, it's the perfect time to have a fundraiser shoot because the bow hunters have gotten their bows out
Yeah,
and
they're all looking for something to go
looking
do.
somewhere to
For
shoot. So
yeah,
there's no doubt about it. So that was perfect timing for that. Now, don't get me wrong. When other people had their stuff scheduled for years and months ahead of time, and then everybody starts stacking on top of it, all you're doing is watching your numbers block off. Like, okay, I could have had 50, but now there's 3 other shoots, so I may only have
yeah,
20. And that's the hard part about it. There's no
yep,
doubt about it. It's a very hard thing to schedule, judge, and do. We were in a meeting Sunday afternoon talking about this exact thing about dates and times, and there's only so many dates, period. All right. And you don't want to step on anybody else's toes because you're actually cutting your foot off in the process.
right.
So, um, yeah, that's who's shooting this weekend. But man, what else do you got going on? What's new? What's happening?
Well, um, yeah, again, you got this weekend, but remember next weekend, Big Creek's going to try their first ever,
That's
bow
right.
hunting style shoot.
I could tell
Um,
Tell JB if he can. Can I come out there Sunday and shoot?
I'll ask him. But even that, again, we're involved in everything aside. But JB's got his hunting shooting the 23rd.
That's right.
Same day as Trip and I, some of the others, we'll go shoot, crack of dawn and then turn around and, head back up to Culpepper's and, support the shop for
Support the
their sale.
shop. That's right.
But even being an hour and apart, like you said, there's only so many weekends that you can get so much stuff done.
For sure.
Um, and everybody's trying to wrap it
I
up.
almost call JB and say, look, why don't you just stretch that to Saturday and Sunday?
Get a Saturday and a Sunday in there.
Because I have to work. I mean, the shop is. There's no way I can leave the shop.
Yeah,
I
if
couldn't.
you haven't been out there yet this year, I mean, great new
Oh,
club, great range. I
I'm
mean,
telling you,
absolutely
he has.
beautiful
Yeah.
hurricane,
If
but
it, I was gonna say if after the freaking hurricane come through, I mean, even the part that he's using is still beautiful. And to do the things that he's done, putting the bridges across the little crawls and the what I mean, he's done the things that he
members of
needed
his
to do.
club, his range is open and open to their members, year round. And there aren't very many people else doing that with good targets.
For
You,
sure. I mean, he's
but
great targets. I have great and a great young man and a great man and willing to listen and learn to try to better it. That's the
yep,
biggest thing. Every time I've talked to him, he's like, "What can I do better?" He's not asking. He wants to know what he did wrong so he can fix it.
that's right.
100%.
And he
Not
has probably been to every shoot in the state at least
yes,
once this year. He's been to every club in the state sometime over the last year
for
and a
sure.
half.
No doubt about it. So, yeah,
But
I
no,
mean,
other than that, man, start to get ready for deer season. Trip was out working some food plots back here on our property this week, and
so
cameras
so
are out now, and etc.
so what bow are you gonna hunt with?
I will probably hunt with my Hoyt, same one I've been shooting all year. All I shot, I shot the Hunter 45 this year, but with my hunting bow and took broadheads off at the beginning of the season, put field points back on, and that's all I shot this year. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for next tournament season because I got to set something back up. I'm
Well,
tired of Trip beating me. So, but, but I'll
hey,
move into the senior class this year.
yeah, so you
So
get to come play with us. Come
be in
on
real
down.
be in real trouble. That's right.
Yep. I tell you what's funny though, a trip and talk about JB and the place down there at
Hmm.
Big Creek. You know, Trip stayed on top of that board a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I made some comments just for the fun of it because I mean nothing more than poking the bear. I was like, one of y'all needs to step up because he's been standing up there. He just thinks that's where he belongs. I love Trip to death.
No,
Don't get me wrong. I'm not. There's not. It was all in fun, all in jest, and
no,
you know.
absolutely. But
But
man, did he had a fun 3D league? We had a blast. I mean, and we drove down there, a couple times a week, and yeah, there was one week that Kim didn't like her score. She called in to work and took a morning off to go shoot so she could get her
let's get a
score up
better.
to go back to work. Right? Yeah. We were planning stuff out. Well, we can't be here this day. Can't be there. So all right, we'll get up at 6, drive down there, start shooting at 7, so we can be home by just to
100.
get scores. So
Yeah.
it was what 3D archery used to be. It was fun.
Yep.
Great targets, great range, great league. A lot of smack talking.
For
It,
sure.
you know, and it just reminded us all how fun the sport really is when you get away from the trophies and the
Politics.
politics of it and
That's right.
everything else. That's right.
But
But,
yeah. So that let's see. I was gonna do this so just so that I can do my thing like normal. Oh, boom. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe this video, this audio. Follow us on all the social media. If you have something that you want us to talk about, be sure to put it on and send us an information info at georgiaarchery.com. This calendar that we read off and talk about who's shooting where is listed on that webpage, www.georgiaarchery.com. You can find all this information and more right there. But be sure to make a comment, like, and subscribe. That's the biggest things. If comments, just comment below on this video. If you go to the Instagram, on the TikToks, on the Snapchats, whatever, just make a comment on all of them because that's what we want. And if you're listening to it in audio form, you can find it at all of the major audio places. We're on Amazon, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're in Google, we're everywhere that you can find this information. So please make sure you go out there and like and subscribe. We do this live because it's fun, and get some feedback from people. But I also upload it as a trimmed up video uh, on YouTube. So go after you've listened to it or whatever, just go and like it, make a comment about something we've talked about in the comments. Dude, I appreciate your time today. It's
absolutely, Tom.
you
And
know,
if the ASA posted their first 3 shoot dates today too.
yeah, the third
So
one did come out today, right? I did. I was
the
waiting on that.
full in Louisiana
Louisiana, that's right.
posted today finally. So they keep rolling it out slowly. But,
Yeah, they're working on, and we understand, right? They're
no,
waiting on. I mean, there was a big old weather problem in Kentucky, and they want to make
Little
sure
bit
that
of
this
a
covered it.
weather
Yep.
incident there, right?
And so they want to make sure that that's taken care of, and they're be ready to go. Not that they want to go somewhere else. They want to make sure that's where we go, and I
Yeah,
understand that. But it also holds up everybody else.
everybody else is trying to get their
It's
schedules.
one of their biggest when this one of the biggest organizations, especially in this area, um, that makes everybody else set their dates accordingly. So,
Yeah. And
um,
where everybody starts trying to set them earlier and earlier. Yeah.
yep.
Imagine 5 years ago, we were in the middle of August
Oh yeah.
talking about trying to set dates for next year. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
Can you
that's the
imagine? That's just the way the way the cookie crumbles.
right.
Dude, I am shooting my new Hoyt. So it will have its first year out, and I love it. AX2 is shooting well, so I hope to got the new 5.0 arrows, so I could go up a spine and keep the same arrow weight that I had before with some front of center. It's pretty cool.
I just ordered some 5 mils last week. I've been shooting my Spartans all year. I think I bought a dozen 2 years ago, and I've still got
Oh
half a
yeah,
dozen. You know,
100%.
I
Yeah,
can go to
but
a back event and lose some more arrows. So, yeah.
for sure. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to hunt with. You speaking of 3D leagues, Ace is having their 3D league every Thursday night. 6:30 warm up on a bale. 7 o'clock score. We're shooting 3D inside the range. Yes, it's not going to get hot. It's not going to get wet, and you get to shoot 3D. And I'm telling you right now, if you ain't ready for the smack talking, you might as well just stay home.
Just stay home.
Also, for if you get 4 scores out of the 6 weeks, you're in chance for the money. And there's some pretty decent little prize money going on. So,
Good deal.
come out and have some fun if you can make it. Even if you're not going to make it for league every week and try to get the big money, come in and just have some fun when you're,
Yeah.
one Thursday night. I know y'all have made those trips a few times when y'all didn't have something else going on Friday. So,
Yeah,
um,
well, we try. And you got a new big good sponsor. You know, something new you're trying there. So it's
yep. So
interesting.
I have the guaranteed payout is guaranteed off of a sponsor that has come in that's outside of the archery industry. But you can find out more of that information if you do come because he has a booth set up and talks about what he's got going on. Pays some entry fees for people, so you know that's pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, I appreciate everything. I think we've covered most of it. I appreciate everything you do in the sport of archery and try to help grow the sport. Like we
Yeah,
talk a lot, and you know, big clubs in the place, and we got our feet wet in most every organization there is in the state.
that's absolutely right. We're involved in everything. I stay away from NAS, fortunately, so I don't have to deal with the schools. But
Yep,
other than that, you're right. Yeah, we've got memberships in all of it, and
100%.
help where we can in all of it. That's right.
Yep,
All about growing the sport of archery.
for sure. Well, we appreciate it, and until next time, I'm Big John, and that
I'm Jake.
we'll see ya.